everybody, and welcome to America's National Park of Speeds, the Ford Mustang Challenge for the Intersports Car Weekend, brought to you by Ford Performance, built Ford proud. I'm John Hagdall, and joining me is Shea Adam. What a fabulous weekend. We have 27 cars on the entry list. I think we're probably going to have 26, possibly 25 coming out. Greg Bennett had a problem in free practice too, and that, I'm afraid, looks a little bit too severe to get that car back up and running. Still waiting to see if the Jack Lewis Enterprise number 73 car gets back to the grid. Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. They've been racing here since 1955. Just over 4 miles with 14 corners. There's a wee bit of everything here. Fast uphill start-finish line into an insanely quick first corner. Downhill to turn 3, downhill to turn 5. Tricky braking area there. Then into the carousel, through the kink, and then the braking area at Canada corner. From there, it's pretty much uphill all the way. These cars have not been here before. It has been relatively recently repaved. As I said, Shea Adam is with me. We'll bring her in a moment. Let's have a quick look at the grid, the Ford Performance grid. It would be Jack Lewis at the back, and then Kai Cairns, Scott Thompson, Tommy McGlynn, Dr. Rod Randall, Mitch Marvosh in 21st position, John Strauss on the inside of row 10, Nick Smither on the outside of row 9 with Mike Stillwagon for company there, Tom Tate and DJ Randall on row the back of row number 7 and 8, Paolo Salvatore, Rob Ecklin on the outside of row 7, Christian Bach on the inside. Alex Bachira will look to come forward in the number 33 Spark Performance Mustang from the outside of row 6 with Wes Slimp for company there. Marcus Vento has the number 18 JV Racing Team in 10th position with Gab Taish on the inside of row 5. Max Opalski is on the outside of row 4 with Zach Lee on the inside in the 48. Front 3 rows, Reid Sweeney for Robert Noaker Racing. Should mention Zach Lee, by the way, is the best of the Legends drivers as well. So Reid Sweeney and Brandon Godovich on the 3rd row. Brandon looking to keep the championship run going here. Tyler Maxim, Robert Noaker on the 2nd row of the grid. And on the front row, for Southern Paley Motorsport, on the outside, the 26 of Sam Paley, and Jeremy Fletcher for Macumbi McAleer Racing is on pole position. Coming to the halfway spot of the season, Shea Adam, championship standings, people will be keeping one eye on those as well as the results from here on forward.
Yes, they will, and it has been the show as far as Robert Noaker Racing is concerned. It has been all about them. Tyler Maxson leading the way, 1,350 points, a 20-point advantage over Robert Noaker coming into today's race. But you mentioned Sam Paley. He sits 3rd in the championship, still within striking distance, as is Jeremy Fletcher, our pole sitter today, gaining those 10 valuable points by that pole position, moved him just that tiny bit closer. And there has been a change as far as the teams are concerned, because Southern Paley Motorsports has teamed up with Macumbi McAleer Racing. So the front row, in effect, working under the same tent this weekend. Let's see if those two cars can work together to try and get ahead of the Robert Noaker Racing cars and claw some valuable championship positions back.
So we have 45 minutes on the clock, and the drivers will be getting into their grid positions and lining up side by side, waiting for the lights to go out on the Ford Mustang Dark Horse street car that is leading them around at the moment. Can't miss the chrome of Zach Lee for the pole in the Legends. That looks decent. The safety car lights are out. First time of asking for competitive running at Road America, just over 4 miles, 14 corners. That's the challenge. It's fast, and these cars love fast flowing circuits. Green flag in hand at the start line, green flag in the air, and we are racing for 45 minutes. The time will only start as they cross the line. It was pretty tight with Jeremy Fletcher and Sam Paley going down to the first corner. Fletcher will try and hold the advantage, but he can't do it. As Sam Paley was pushing him. No, I think Fletcher has just managed to hold on as they come down the hill. There was a cutback round through the first corner. Good run by Robert Neuecker there in third, and Tyler Maxson, Brandon Gadovich trying to make up room as well in the Precision Performance number 46 car as they head down towards turn 5 for the first time. And it is Sam Paley who got that cutback. I thought it was in the white and black car. Right in behind him, the pole sitter in the blue and white car is Jeremy Fletcher down to turn 5. Everyone has survived so far. Zachary Lee down the inside of Reed Sweeney there, I think, as he was trying to come through the field. You really can't miss that silver car, the silver bullet. So a tidy start by everybody concerned so far, Shea Adam, but a swap over at the front of the field between Jeremy Fletcher now in second from pole and Sam Paley from the outside of the front row to lead the race.
Jeremy Fletcher just running a little bit wide through turn 1 and unable to pull the car back and keep the momentum up. That allowed Sam Paley to sneak through by the time they got to turn 3, and we did have a different leader by the time we were in turn 5. So Sam Paley doing exactly what he had planned on, which was getting to the lead and trying to run away. For Zachary Lee, our championship leader in the Dark Horse Legends category, those are the cars with the blue number panels and mirrors, by the way. All these cars are exactly the same. It's only the drivers that make the difference, and the drivers' age determining which class they in, but the bright silver car of Zachary Lee from MMR was holding off Marcus Ventos, a car from the Dark Horse category in that moment going through turn 5. So really good driving by our championship leader. He's got Nick Smither chasing him in the championship, but with nearly a 200-point gap, Zachary Lee can afford to be a little bit safe today.
Coyote V8 engine sounding wonderful through the trees in that flat out blast down through towards Canada corner, now climbing up the significant rise from the final 14th corner and across the brow of the hill. Sam Paley is scored as the leader with around about a third of a second lead to Jeremy Fletcher in second. It is Robert Neuecker in third in the other white and blue car, but that's got a little more of a metallic fleck to the blue and an extra stripe on the side if you're watching. Tyler the Tiger Maxson in the orange and black car. I do like the black hood. That is very, very Mustang of old. Then a little gap back to the 31, the darker car of Reed Sweeney, and already in the pit lane, the green metallic of Scott Thomas for LAP Motorsports. So he's had a problem on the first lap. By the way, Jack Lewis didn't start. That settles that question. So Greg Bennett, we knew about having had that incident in free practice too. And he turned his Mustang into a Ford Fiesta in terms of length. That car will be repaired by the team. Down towards turn number 8, and the top 5, Shea Adam, have come back together. Meantime, in the pit lane, looks like it was a left front tyre issue for Scott Thompson.
Yes, it is, and they are doing a very good job of changing it. It's one of those things you have to learn a new car, and for this team, which is very experienced in the IMSA paddock, trying to get the jack out and run across to the far side of the car to change the tire with the 5 studs on the lug nuts on the front left of the car. It's a learning experience, but Scott will get back out there, and this weekend is all about learning for him, as the front of the field is learning how to race together once again. Jeremy leaving the pit lane, but back on track. Sam Paley has his hands full of Jeremy Fletcher.
Yeah, Scott Thompson, because of the length of this track. Oh, as someone's gone off at the kick, it is the number 8 car, the bright car, Tom Tate for MDK Motorsports. He's ripped up the left front. He's in the Legends class. This could bring out a full course yellow. I'm not sure he'll get that car back. He's at Canada Corner, but the whole left front suspension has gone, and we have got a full course yellow. And I was just about to say, Scott Thompson got out before the leaders came round, so he will not have lost the lead lap. The whole front suspension has been ripped asunder from the rest of the car. I suspect he went off. Yes, he did. He'd had contact with the wall just after the kink. He was trying to bring it back on, but the slap on the side of the wall had obviously broken something, and then bouncing across the grass. Gotta say, Tom did a pretty stout job, outstanding job, not to go back in front of the rest of the field and bring the car to a halt under control just after Canada Corner. But that car needs picking up. It's the multicoloured car, the number 8 of Tom Tate, then our first major casualty, and the MDK Motorsports car bereft of a left front suspension assembly, wheel and Michelin tyre. The brakes are all on there as well. My goodness me. Tom getting out of the car, he slapped the wall on his side, but the door opened fine. Our AMR safety team already there as the car was coming to a stop, Shay.
And once again, a testament not only to our safety team, who we love very, very dearly, but the strength of these cars. And the Tom Tate with a massive hit to the wall and the kink. A couple of things you can't argue with in life: the past and the kink at Road America. You'll lose every time. But Tom able to walk away from that after getting airborne as well. That pony decided to jump a couple of jumps out there, didn't it, John?
Yeah, would have looked great on the cross-country course at Versailles in the Olympics. Amazing piece of driving by Tom not to lose control and spear across. He hit pretty far down after the kink on driver's left, and there's no protection there. That is concrete wall, and it's completely split the front suspension member. The bottom of the shock absorber still on the hub, along with the brake and the brake rotor, the brake disc. But that would have been a scary, scary moment there for Tom Tate. And there's a bit of clean up to do here, stretching all the way down from just out of the kink down towards Canada Corner. And our track services team making sure that that is safe whilst the AMR safety crew prepare that MDK Mustang Dark Horse for recovery. It's going to need a lift, I think, that car. It won't flat toe, having lost quite a bit of its left front suspension. Tom's fine. He's walked to the safety and intervention vehicle on his own. He'll be a little bit disappointed, of course. Big thank you to our track services, our marshalling crews, the AMR safety team and the rest of the medical staff, and indeed everybody on duty this weekend. When we say it takes a village, we really mean it when we come motor racing. Literally hundreds of people giving their time, that most important of resource. Thank you very much to you all, and including that our wrecker and recovery truck crews. We always hope that you have a very quiet weekend and can sit up in the cab with the aircon on, listening on the radio. The rest of the car stood up very, very well indeed, to the point that Tom was able to open his door himself from the inside. And the rapid response vehicle from AMR, our IMSA safety team, is going to have an extra wheel and tyre in the hatchback.
Always
so the clock keeps running. Well, yes, very true. Not sure it's the same size and specification, but, you know, true enough. The time will keep ticking on. We'd had just around about 8 minutes of racing, maybe a little less than that, so still 36 minutes nearly to go. And the field frozen. Scott Thompson able to make his way back round. He's not quite on the back of the line of cars yet, I don't think.
He's not far
in that
off.
LAP Motorsport car. No, he's not that far off, correct. He's having to be careful because of the safety team on track, and he's done a very sensible job of getting back to it. Another race here tomorrow, and then the rest of the season. In fact, here he comes now in that very fetching, not sure what to call that.
Teal.
It's not a lime green. Teal? Ooh, all right. I had a car that wasn't a million miles away from that colour a few years ago. It's very chromy. The number 30 going through turn 1 now. Ooh, change up, Scott. I heard you hit the limiter there. Good point, though, that we should make. These cars are old school with a gear lever and 3 pedals. It is a stick shift. No ABS and no traction control, and Scott is now on the end of the team. Let's take a look at our team update as well. And we are, as we do at every race, this is our full performance team update. And we're looking at a number of different teams here. Southern Pearly Motorsport leading with the number 26 car. Robert Noaker Racing, their best car in 3rd and 4th position, actually. Robert Noaker and Tyler Maxson, and the Macumbi Macalia Racing. Zach Lee leads in the Legends category and sits in 8th position overall. Designated, by the way, that Legends category by having the blue number panels rather than the reds of the Dark Horse category. So we'll keep an eye on those cars as they go through. Our leader just coming through the carousel now.
And Zach's actually a pretty cool guy. John,
Yeah,
sorry to interrupt. He's a guy who's been in IMSA for quite some time, running in different series. And when the Mustang Challenge came around, he said yes, please. He was one of the first to decide to come and run in this championship. 3 out of the last 4 races have resulted in wins, pole positions, and 2 fast laps for Zach. He's the kind of guy, though, he's not exactly comfortable just sitting around doing nothing in the trailer. So yesterday, he was out helping the MMR crew, cleaning the car, keeping it nice and bright and chrome while they were working on it. He was doing jumping jacks, he was doing stretches. He's so excited to be a part of this championship, and it has rewarded him with a healthy lead in the Dark Horse Legends class. Right now, looking good to try and keep that perfect streak the last few races alive.
Safety car lights are out just enough time as they're coming through Bill Mitchell Bend for me to tell you that the 2025 season schedule has been announced this week. We'll start at the Mobile 1 12 Hours of Sebring at Sebring International in March. Then it's WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca in May. A non-points invitational at the Le Mans 24 Hours in June before we come back here in August. Then VIR at the end of August, Circuit of the Americas early September, and the final round is TBA. That's the 2025 schedule. Back at Green Flag Racing, Sam Paley brings them back to the starter stand, and the front 4 have jumped away just a little bit from Reid Sweeney in the Robert Noaker Racing car. It's the black car with the gold and white bonnet stripes, hood stripes. Oh, big wide exit taken there by the 3rd place Robert Noaker car. Is that an opportunity for Tyler Maxson to come through? Can't do that there, but they have closed themselves up on the rest of the field. Just over 31 minutes to go. Plenty of racing here. Scott Thompson, excuse me, Scott, for LAP did get that teal metallic car on the end of the leaders. And now, was that a deliberate move then from Robert Noaker there? He seemed to give the position to Tyler Maxson. Maybe he knew he'd gone too wide at turn 1 and didn't want a penalty there because he was all 4 Michelin tyres over the line. So that's a situation to keep an eye on, but that allows the top 2 here to break away. We've had a spin down at turn number 5, and it's the white Yas Marine car of John Strauss, the Capaldi Racing machine. He'll get that car pointing in the right direction.
Yeah, no harm, no foul there for the 14 as John Strauss does manage to recover and get going once again. Not sure if it was a deliberate move from Noaker. It would be very heads up, and he is a heads up driver, to give the position back before race control could make a verdict. Was John Strauss just spinning all on his own. The 66 was fairly close behind him, but Cal Curran's, I think, innocent party there, just sort of a spectator to that moment. Really glad to see no contact between those two cars, but there was very nearly contact between the two Robert Noaker racing cars, as when Tyler got through, Robert was still hot on his heels, and those two cars still tethered together, allowing the Southern Paley Motorsport car leading the race and the McCumbee-McAleer car in second to get just that tiny little bit of an air gap between them and the rest of the field.
Sam Paley then just holding a slender lead at the moment. The red, white and black car going through turn 14 is Brandon Godovich, Precision Performance. He'll be wanting to move forward and pick up some more precious points in the championship chase. Fastest lap of the race for the leader, Sam Paley. That's impressive because he has not got anybody to draft with, and I'm not sure Jeremy Fletcher in second is quite close enough to be giving him a push down the straights. Tyler Maxson has broken away in third in the black and orange car and is making a bid to close that gap and get back across to the leaders at turn 3.
For the RNR fans at home, it is currently Hobbs leading Calvin, leading Susie, as the car nicknames have been given out, with Tyler the Tiger ahead of Robert Noaker and then Reed Sweeney in 5th place. But Brandon Godovic back in 6th for PPM was super fast in both of the practice sessions. Brandon, trying to race his way back into contention, is having to look in his mirror because Max Sapolsky in that number 2 machine is all over him. This is turning into a really good battle for all of the top 7.
I remember our Legends leader in 8th position, Zachary Lee, in that chrome silver number 48. His nearest rival is a couple of cars behind, Alex Bachura in the 33 Spark Performance car, but splitting them is Marcus Ventor. Marcus Ventor in the JV car. So he's got cover, Zach has got cover at the moment, and he'll be looking, look, he wants to get his points for the Legends, no doubt, but being inside the top 10 and potentially moving forward, impressive as well. Reed Sweeney goes a little bit wide coming out of the carousel. That's going to cost him some real estate. Is there an opportunity for Godovic to close in? There was just a little bit, and Godovic has got Max Sapolsky in the green, mostly green car, sitting right in behind him. Top 5, little bit, top 4 rather, a little bit of a gap, and then 5, 6 and 7 together through Canada Corner.
Fletcher is keeping Paley honest, though, not allowing the leader to check out by any way, shape, or form. With Sam Paley now, with this sort of technical alliance going on with MMR, it means that the two cars don't have to battle each other quite as closely, and Paley is much closer to the championship leaders by the tune of about 140 points, well, with the fast lap, 150 points closer than Jeremy Fletcher. So between those two cars, 0 team orders, but they both understand the bigger picture. The bigger goal at the end of the day is to try and claw back any points they can against the Robert Noaker racing duo.
It's a good point you make there, Shea, Adam, because there is that 10-point award for the fastest lap, and it has not been. This is a brand new championship to IMSA sanction this year, first year of the championship in its entirety, but we've seen some of these manufacturer championships literally go down to a single position or a fastest lap award by the time we get to the end of the season, and it would not be beyond the bounds of possibility for that to be the case here. Get a good run in the second half of the season, get that momentum, the big more, get it going, and things can change quickly. Pressure does a lot of things to highly experienced athletes, be they racing drivers, trampolinists, gymnasts. We've seen it all happen already in the first week of the Olympics. Once your head goes, strange things happen. Decent battle going on a little bit further down the field. Right in there, the number 33 of Alex Bachura in behind Marcus Vento. Now, they're not in the same class, so the yellow and black car, the number 16, at the moment is the cork in the bottle just a little bit. Buescher can see his class leader just up the road, but what he can't do is get by at the moment.
I think that's actually Gabe Tesh who's just gotten around Alex Buescher, because now it's Tesh and
right.
Ventos. Yeah, and Gabe is a very impressive young man running for MDK Motorsport. It's his first year racing anything with the roof over his head, and he has been learning super quickly, as there was an off-track moment there for the number 19 a couple minutes ago. That's Mike Stillwagon with that beautiful new livery, and there has been a big off, John. It is Rob Ecklin in the number 9. That will be a full course caution.
And that again is at turn 12, I think, heading down towards Canada corner. It probably started before that. And I think there's another car in there as well, Shay. Now,
yep,
Rob
I think
Ecklin,
it's Rod Randall.
Yeah, DJ Randall and Rob Ecklin, the core motorsports cars. Yeah, Christian Bach's gone through, so that was the other core car. And they have come together pretty stoutly. And again, it's left-hand side damage to the Stoner car care. Number 9, the invisible glass-sponsored machine of Rob Ecklin. They were coming side by side through the little kink just before you get to the braking area into Canada corner, and there was a touch there, and they've hit the wall really hard. Hard enough to move our camera there. That was a big hit on the wall. I would suggest there was a fairly, it doesn't have to be a big touch. The front wheels on these cars have camber on them, and that means that the bottom edge of the wheels touch the ground much further out from the wheel arch from the fender than the top. And that means if you get side by side, you can bang that part of the wheel and tyre combination and brake steering, and at that point both drivers just passengers. Nothing there that was in the least bit deliberate. Both drivers are out of their cars. I just paused for a moment there to make sure that DJ was out. Yes, he is, and there's Rod Ecklin Jr. getting out of his car as well. Rob's out of the automatic racing car. Once again, great structural integrity displayed by the Mustang Dark Horse machines in this Mustang Challenge. Both drivers able to open their driver's door and exit the cars themselves. This is going to take a bit of clean-up, share, Adam, with 22 minutes to go.
It will, and thank you so much to our colleagues and friends in the PA booth who have different looks than we do, and they actually just were able to show me a different angle. It was Rob Ecklin moving over to driver's left, actually, that just happened to pinch Dr. Rod Randall. Here we go from our friends at NASCAR Productions. Rod Randall running off the track at the kink, rejoining. Does he manage to keep it straight? Yes. Comes back on in front of Ecklin. And Ecklin with more momentum going through the second part of the kink, carrying more momentum. And by the way, for the people at home asking, is our camera operator okay at Canada Corner? Thankfully, it is a RoboCam, so the answer is yes. But a very scary moment there for both drivers involved as well. Glad to see both of them walking away from their Ford Mustangs, and another testament to the structural rigidity and safety of these cars.
Yeah, Rob just ran a little bit wide. I thought that would have started a long way back, a little bit wide coming out of Canada corner, got on the grass, saved it, but that cost him momentum. And DJ coming round the outside, DJ Randall coming round the outside of him, then trying to move back onto the racing line. And after that, it was just a domino effect. And hey, robots have got feelings too. I'm not having you just dismiss that, Shay. Our automatic or our robotized camera sitting down there, and now you know why that is the case. Big hit on the wall. I think also we'll have to take a look at the concrete at that part of the track just to make sure that there's nothing that's moved into a position that would be dangerous. What you don't want, of course, is any overlap on the concrete blocks that would catch a car that was coming that way. So back under yellow again. This is no issue for Sam Paley. He continues to lead. Just a couple of penalties coming in. By the way, that incident between DJ Randall and Rob Ecklin under investigation from race control. No great hurry as to getting that sorted out. It may result in some sanction through the rest of the weekend. Final warning for Brandon Godovic at turn 1. We've mentioned a couple of cars going pretty wide. It's an easy thing to do because you come into turn 1 so quickly and you want to scrub off as little speed as possible and keep the wheels turned for as little time as possible and get yourself on the throttle, back on the throttle. And these cars, there is a little bit of braking, but not much, and you want to get back on the right-hand pedal as early as you can. There's a line that delineates the edge of the track, but beyond that there is still some racetrack-ish style covering, so hard standing if you will, and that is what the guys have been using. And final warning for Brandon Godovic. He cannot afford, Shay, to have a time penalty, particularly with the cars all closed back up again here behind the Dark Horse safety car.
No, definitely not. And it's one of those things that makes you pay just that tiny bit more attention. When you do go off once, race control notes it. When you go off multiple times, that's when race control, in effect, loses the sense of humor because they view it as you are taking a different line around the racetrack than everyone else, i.e. you're doing a different lap, so therefore your lap does not count. And race control will start issuing penalties for that. And as you say, Godovic, with this grouping so close together, that really could be critical for championship points. Now, we did just have a pit caller. The number 3 is in. It's McGlynn. It's his first racing weekend. The car is jacked up. It's actually straight across from the booth, so it's very nice of them to be able to show me what's going on. But the car was jacked up. They checked underneath it. They've got the blocks out in case the mechanics need to go under. No tire change taking place on this car, so very curious for what's happening for Spark Performance. But if anyone is going to know what's going on with the car, it's the man carrying one of the blocks. That is Mr. Sparks himself, Sparky, as we've known him for a long time, John. Good man, and glad to see this team, which has been small in a one-car effort for the majority of the season, with Alex Buescher, a championship threat. No matter what Alex is running in, finally getting some new people to come and play this weekend.
Yeah, Nathan Sparks, former Mazda MX-5 Cup driver, amongst other things, and no mean racer in his own right. Now, the good news is that car, now, I've just seen the hand come out the window. I think that Tommy McGlynn is going to go behind the wall share. You can say better.
I think you're right.
Your point of view as the clear up continues with the number 94 Core Motorsports Ford Mustang Dark Horse of DJ Randall just being edged onto the flatbed. This has been a bit untidy, not maliciously so, we should say. These cars, we've been talking about how strong they are. The racing is exceptionally close because the cars are identical, Shay, and in some ways, you know, it does mean that there are very small margins, and Brandon Godovic knows all about that as he's been going through turn 1.
Oh, yeah. Very
wide indeed, way off. All 4 Michelin tyres off what is effectively the curb there. The curb is delineated or shown at least by the striations and the stripes on the concrete. The darker asphalt beyond that is not racetrack, and that's why he's got the warning.
And in effect, track limits are in place because the tracks have built this extra runoff so that when the cars happen to go off, if they are out of control of the driver, they're not going to wind up in gravel, they're not going to be in a perilous situation, and they will be able to continue. It's an emergency situation. It's not something the drivers should plan to use, but race car drivers, give them an inch, they'll take a foot, and that's why race control needs to sit there with all the cameras and police this.
Yeah, it's a fair point, well made. Just finishing off on the point I was making, it's very close racing. It's a game of a race series of very small margins whenever you get cars that are so equally prepared. And in some ways, that's what we want to see. It does mean that getting past competitors, even when they have made a mistake, as we saw there from Rob Ecklin, is not a slam dunk, and that has caused, I think that has been a contributing factor to that incident. Not really anybody's fault, just the fact that a little bit of additional speed doesn't always turn into a cut and dried passing opportunity. Easy to be wise after the effect, but I think both of those drivers will look at that. Rob knows he made a mistake. DJ coming round the outside, could he have just held his line down to the braking area of Canada corner? Maybe, but ifs and buts, ifs and ands, pots and pans, etc, etc. If my aunt had wheels, she'd be a bicycle, that sort of thing. Well, there's another version of that, but I can't use that if I want to continue to broadcast. We are down to the last 14 minutes, 14 minutes, and I don't think we're a million miles away from going back to green. It'll just be the final check for debris. There were some quite large pieces of Ford Mustang Dark Horse that were down on the run down to Canada corner, where we've seen two significant contacts. Debris fields that our hard-working safety crew and the track services personnel have had to clear up. Thank you to them. You can probably see whether those two flatbeds have got into the pit lane or off the track at the exit of turn 13. We might be able to go green at the end of this lap with just under 13 to go. If not, it's going to be about 9. No, we've still got the AMR safety intervention vehicle there, just checking as I thought they would be. Checking the walls, checking for any errant pieces. So we're going to go one more time around, which will take us to about 7.5 minutes to run to the checkered flag if we can go green this time around, this next time around, should I say. Again though, Shea, got to say, this will not be bothering Sam Paley at all. Would he like to be racing? Would he like to be having fun? Yes, but right now nobody's gaining on him, and he's not pulling away, but nobody's gaining on him either.
Exactly. He's holding on to the lead of the race, and I can't actually see if the flatbeds have pulled in because although I'm staring down Tawny in the starter stand just happens to block where the flatbeds would turn out back into the paddock area. So I would assume that they've gone back there, but Tawny's still with the double yellows firmly in hand. Gives us an opportunity to say thank you to all the fans who have turned out, to the good sir wearing the multicolored cat shirt. I love it. Please send me a message. Where did you get that? Because I might need one. But it is a beautiful day here for racing in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, and glad to see so many fans turning out so early for the Ford Performance show to kick things off this morning. And apologies to everybody for not getting in all the green flag racing, but the green flag racing we've had has been excellent, has it not? Yep, take a bow, sir. You've earned it.
Yeah, very, very good point, Shea. Very good point indeed. It is some reorganisation of the tyres on the run-off area at Canada Corner at turn number 12. You might think, well, that's a very long way off the track. But the reason we are having to reorganise those tyres is because a car got all the way down there. And that is an extremely fast run for these Mustangs. big 500 horsepower cars, V8s, rear wheel drive, no ABS, no traction control, stick shift, 3 pedals. One might say proper race car. Certainly a bit of an old school race car, and I say that without any criticism at all. It's right up my street. Heeling and towing down change. So we'll have, as I say, if we can go green next time around, we'll have about 7.5 minutes to go. Second race for Ford Mustang Challenge, brought to you by Ford Performance, built Ford proud, comes tomorrow. We're splitting the races over the next 2 days. Big Super Saturday, which will include some more free practice for the WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, plus live coverage of their qualifying. And then, of course, we've also got the Michelin Pilot Challenge, which will see another version of a Ford Mustang racing. They're out in force this weekend with the Dark Horse Mustang Challenge cars, the GT4 and the GT3, all in action for the Blue Oval. Right, now coming back through the kink again, 9 minutes to go. No change, of course, to any of the positions. So Sam Paley still leads from Jeremy Fletcher and Tyler Maxon, 26, 22 and 74. Number 84 in third in the Legends is Paolo Salvatore for Torre Racing.
And what a great story he is, John. This is his first weekend in any kind of professional series at all, almost no testing. And while this is a new championship and everyone is still adapting to racing, he's brand new to this car, trying to keep his nose clean, just going out and doing what he can. Finds himself in that third position, as you say, in the Dark Horse Legends category. What a start to a weekend, potentially to a career, to come into this championship and walk away after race number 1, potentially with a little bit of hardware. Could be a cool thing. We need to keep our eyes on Paolo Salvatore.
I think we're still just rearranging tyres at Canada Corner. So there'll be at least one more lap of yellow, which is going to take us down to around about 4 minutes to go, which would give us 2 green flag laps, possibly 3. It will all depend on how quickly they got up to speed. And the opportunity for those sitting behind Sam Paley is lessening moment by moment. It is a long lap here, it's 4 miles. I notice Sam's been moving around trying to keep some heat in the Michelin tyres. The track temperature is 86 Fahrenheit. That's 30 Celsius on the nose. In the air, 79 is 26 Celsius. So he'll just want to make sure his tyres are clean and ready to go, so that if he does have to jump away next time around, that he's still got the grip underneath him. Maybe not necessarily for turn 1, but down at the bottom of the hill at turn 3, and certainly at turn 5, he'll want heat in those front tyres. Back on the end of the field, John Strauss for Capaldi Racing, who was in the pit lane, having the team and Nathan Sparks look at the left side of his car, the white number 14. He has, sorry, that's the Capaldi Racing car, my apologies. Tommy McGlynn went into the pit for Spark Performance and went behind the wall, and that's why we're not seeing him back out. We've lost the Automatic Racing number 9 of Rob Ecklin and DJ Randall for Corn in the 94 in that coming together, which has put us in this current safety car period. Tom Tate had a big off just after the kink in the MDK Motorsports number 8 car. Ripped off the left front wheel on that car. Jack Lewis and Greg Bennett not starting the race. Sure for Jack, we'll have to find that out. But Greg Bennett in the Mariasian Fragrance car had an incident in FP2, free practice 2, which left his car not looking very Mustang-like at the back, shall we say. Coming down to the last 5 minutes See if we can go green next time around.
It's going to be a good old-fashioned shootout if we do. And
Lights
I
are
do
out,
see a certain
are out.
color flag in Tawny's hand. Yep, the lights are out, and Tawny is ready to send them off once again. So by the time we get back around, they still have about a mile to go, a mile and a half maybe, before they get to the start-finish line. Long track, 4.048 miles, 14 turns, and when you walk it, it is all uphill from Canada Corner. Your calves will tell you that. But this circuit, very demanding and wonderful. All the drivers love it, and right now Sam Paley is going, all right, how do I stay ahead of Jeremy Fletcher for the next 8.12? Now, too much math this early in the morning.
Almost exactly the same length as Spa-Francorchamps, and very much in a similar vein. Perhaps not quite the elevation change in dramatic areas of the circuit, but certainly in a parkland setting. Not sure you would confuse the Ardennes for Wisconsin, but at this time of the year, when they're both pretty green, they are lovely places to be. And we are going back green this time around. The field now in the control of Sam Paley. He will decide when to go as he comes to the final corner, and that's where he gasses it up. He's going to give everybody a decent tour here. He didn't want to wait. He had his wheels straight, and he's just put a car and a half length into Jeremy Fletcher. That might be enough. It's Tyler Maxson, the man most likely at the moment, as the second place blue and white car goes to the wall to try and defend into turn one. Maxson takes him close to the wall, then flicks to the outside. Jeremy moved back to cover. I think that was okay. They're all very careful on the exit of turn one. Fletcher defending into turn number 3, then moves back to the racing line. He'll have to be careful. You are not allowed to move in response to the cars behind coming up through the pack. It's the brightly coloured blue and orange car. And is that the 29? I think of Mitch Marvosh trying to make a move through the field. Meantime, at the head of the Legends class, still 2 cars in between. Zach Lee in 8th position in the silver chrome, number 48, and Alex Buescher in the 33, the olive-coloured car. Marcus Vento and Gabe Tesch, the 2 cars in between them. And that will be frustrating beyond compare to Alex Buescher. Nothing he can do, and another incident, and it's Rod Randall. That's the other Randall. Dear me. DJ and Rod have both crashed out in their core motorsports machines. Dr. Rod Randall then with an incident at turn 6, just under the Corvette bridge. The leaders are still racing at the moment. This could be key. Sam Paley knows he's got to hang on. There's another car gone off behind at the kink. And that is Marcus Vento for JV Racing, and the full course yellows come out. And that will be it. There will be no more racing. Well, fair play again to race control. They left it green. It's a long track. You can use that to your advantage. It was safe to leave the cars racing. And Sam Paley knew that he was not necessarily racing back to the line, but racing back to the call. His team would have been telling him what was going on. So that will be a white flag and a yellow at the start-finish line. Tony managing to hold 3 flags at once there. That's fairly impressive. Now, let's find out what happened to Rod Randall. Sputtered up coming out of turn 6. Right-hand side on the grass, maybe even beyond the curb. And I don't think there was a touch. Oh, big mistake going into the kink as well. My goodness me, that was a wake-up call for Marcus Vento, who only lost 1 place, I think, in doing that. But he knew he was in trouble because he was feathering the brakes all the way onto the grass and still on the grass. Did he actually touch the wall, Shay? That's the question.
That is the multi-million-dollar question at this point, and to be honest, I think Marcus Ventos needs to go buy a lottery ticket now because he got away with that one. Now, if we do see the checkered flag in the order that we are running right now, and we're not going to award any wins until the checkered flag is flown, this is the first non-Robert Noaker Racing win of this championship, and it goes the way of Southern Paley Motorsport, a brand new team. But remember, with that new alliance with McCumbee McAleer Racing, it's effectively a 1-2 for MMR today. Very impressive stuff. And again, we wait until they cross the line. I'm doing the math now. The championship battle is looking pretty interesting after this one, John.
Yeah, Brandon Godovic sitting down in 6th position. The Noaker trio in 3rd, 4th and 5th. Was there a slight brush on the wall? Oh, he was close to the tyres. He might have just clipped the left-hand door mirror. He's been lucky. Marcus Vento there, as Shay says, needs to buy himself a lottery ticket for the weekend. Well, not as much racing as we would have hoped. Sam Paley taking the opportunity early on in lap 1 to get alongside the pole-sitting car of Jeremy Fletcher and then make the pass stick by the time they were in turn 5 for the first time. Well inside the top 10 for our Legends winner, Zach Lee, with Alex Buescher finishing in 2nd and Paolo Salvatore in 3rd. Paolo, as you're seeing, at the very start of his racing career. So Sam Paley for Southern Paley Motorsports MMR will take the points for the victory and that extra 10 points for the fastest lap. It was Zach Lee, by the way, who was the fastest in the Dark Horse category. As they come back to the checkered flag, she is doing the arithmetic. I won't ask her to do that until we get to the line because nothing's final until they cross the line. Nice stuff by Jeremy Fletcher, who is dropping away. This is a big win for Sam Paley and for Southern Paley Motorsports, and the picture is only going to have that dark coloured number 26 car, the black and white machine, in it across the line. That's a really nice gesture from Jeremy Fletcher. Across the line they go. We'll confirm the results then for race 1 of 2, the Ford Mustang Challenge here at Road America. Second race tomorrow. Sam Paley on the top step of the podium from Jeremy Fletcher in 2nd and Tyler Maxson in 3rd. The first non-Robert Noaker result winner of the season. Robert Noaker himself in 4th, from Reed Sweeney in 5th. That was the RNR cars. Then Precision Performance, Brandon Godovic in 6th, Max Zapalski in 7th, McCumbee McAleer's Zach Lee takes the Legends class in 8th, ahead of Gabe Tesh, Marcus Ventos and Alex Buescher in 11th. Problems at the bottom of the field. We lost Tommy McGlynn behind the wall. Not sure what happened with that. Rob Ecklin, DJ Randall, Tom Tate, all with accidents, and Rod Randall as well with a problem. So bad news for them. Let's hope they get back for tomorrow's race. Jack Lewis and Greg Bennett not getting to the green flag today. Shay, very quickly, let's have a look at the arithmetic for the championship standings. Unofficial at this point, of course.
Halfway through the year at this point, and Tyler Maxson does lead the way, 1,650 points unofficially, ahead of Robert Noaker, a 40-point gap. But now Sam Paley is on 1,500 points, well within striking distance of the lead. Jeremy Fletcher, 1,320. In Dark Horse Legends, it is 1,700 points for Zach Lee, ahead now of Mike Stillwagon, 1,420 for Stillwagon, and 10 points back, it's Nick Smithers. So a very good day for Mike Stillwagon, an even better day for Zach Lee.
Shea Adam was alongside me for this Ford Performance presentation of the Mustang Challenge. Ford Performance built, Ford proud. It's not the end of the excitement for Road America here at Elkhart Lake. We'll be back with another 45 minutes of action tomorrow. There's a few cars to be patched up. Congratulations to Sam Paley for his maiden victory in the championship and to Zach Lee in the Legends class. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.